Hey y'all, I'm working on a new project now. Raven is here, as you can hear, howling her pleasure into the void. Today we are working on a Gothic library bag, which is very cool as a concept, and I'm very excited to do. So let's start with the end here. This is going to be like a book plate, kind of, for like the ending page. Older books used to have really cool detailed ending pages to them, indicating that the end of the book had happened. So that's what this one's going to be. I've kind of had to make my own. The client originally had an idea for one, but unfortunately it was just too detailed. So what I'm going to be doing is making one of my own. Believe it or not, this is the less detailed option. I'm missing my pairs of scissors because it's thick enough that I can make this and sew it down. So it will take some time though. What I'm doing right now is just lining up the details here to make one cohesive ending piece. I gotta leave enough room for the words because I am putting words here in the middle. So we gotta move this up just a hair without I do cut letters sometimes. It's usually easier not to because text can get a little bit muddled, especially when it's kind of small. Yeah, okay. So what I'm gonna do on the outsides here is I have circle punches, so I'll be doing those with punches actually. And then I'm going to continue the design a little bit up here off the sides. So that should work. Just need to adjust here. Sometimes when I'm doing work that's this fiddly, I need to take some time to do the whole thing. Get it taped. Okay. I like that. It looks even. It's going to look really cool when it's done. Sometimes these don't always look amazing when I'm working on it. But the whole theme of this bag is going to be Gothic librarian, reading in a garden. The front, which we'll work on in a little bit depending on how long this takes me, we'll have like flowers with skulls and stuff like that. Hey there, I'm glad you're even half here. It's nice to see you out in the chat there. So this gets fully taped so that we have the complete design there. Something, ain't it? So just changed the scalpel blade, so let's get started on this. It's gonna get a little bit hairy here in the middle because there's, as you can see, there's like a lot of vines going over each other. But I'm going to start on some of the outside pieces here, just so we can get this going. This might take a little bit of concentration, so I might not be talking quite as much because this is a very detailed piece. I love doing Gothic bags. It's like my favorite. Of all the pulls, like all the zipper pulls that I have, I think I have the most of Gothic ones. And that's not just like skulls and coffins and stuff like that, but like this kind of detailed floral work. So moving the piece around a lot helps me to make sure that I'm staying in the curves nice and tight. Because while I do have to expand some pieces when I'm working on stuff this small, I try to keep it as true to design as I can. Like, there won't be necessarily a gap between these scroll works. However, keeping them connected a little bit is going to make it a little bit easier to take it out and sew it down. Because everything that I cut, I have to be able to sew down at some point. This is called reverse applique, for anyone watching who is wondering, because I'm cutting it directly out of the piece, and then I will put another color underneath. So when I pop all of this out, there'll be another underlayment that goes under it. So it's going to pop out, and it's going to be just a little bit easier to sew down because I only have to sew the surface of all of this instead of making each one of these an individual piece. It's all pretty tricky though, I'm not going to lie. This is definitely one of my more complicated bags. Some of the stuff that I do ends up pretty complex. The more curves it has, the longer it takes to both cut out and sew down. Although I still prefer to, I think, straight lines, because straight lines are very unforgiving. Everybody knows what a straight line looks like. Everyone knows how a square is supposed to look. So if you have even a little bit of a wobble on it, it's much harder to pull the eye away from that flaw than it is on something like this that has so many different curves to them. So far so good. I haven't gotten into this mess in the middle yet. And it might end up that I have to edit some of it a little bit. I'm not going to be mad if I do, because I have to be able to make it work with the physical realities that we all inhabit. Like, I can't always make everything as intricate as I want it to be, because I'm just sewing this freehand on my sewing machine. Like embroidery patterns for embroidery machines can make something similar to this, but it's all going to be made out of the thread, and the machine is going to put whatever it is that you tell it to onto the bag front. So in some ways that limits what I can do. So I much prefer to do things like this so that I have the control over how the final product looks, and I can alter things like that on the fly. And if it happens that I can't cut out all of this the way I want to, then I can change it. Now, if I've already cut it out, that means I have to start all over again. But such is life. So all of these little round details, I'll cut those out later when I have access to my leather punches, because it's just ridiculously loud and I don't want to blow anybody's eardrums out by making you listen to me hammer, because it's literally hammering on the punches. I do have like a little rivet machine, and I can buy the punch things for it, but I don't have any, so I have to do everything by hand, and that's okay. It's just loud. Everybody knows when I'm about done with the bag, because that's when I pound in the rivet holes, and everyone in the house can hear. I'm glad you're looking forward to seeing this one. I'm very excited about it. It's very cool. I love the concept, and I love that people want a person wants a bag like this because it's so much fun for me to do. And I know this all looks terribly tedious, but it really is fun for me. I really enjoy stuff like this. Just to see if I can do it sometimes. Like, I've not done any kind of Gothic stuff this detailed before. So, I'm kind of excited to see if I can do it. And I'm pretty sure I can. Like, I try not to promise things that I can't do. That would be pretty, oh, that's Goose squeaking down there. He has his toy. It's a wand, and he drags it through the house, howling at everyone to notice his toy. Goose. Because he's killed it, you see. And he's very proud of his toy. So, that's what all that noise is downstairs. Hi, Goose. Hello. Yeah. Did you get it again? Yeah. He's such a weird little cat. Alright, we got a fleur-de-lis here at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do half of this design, and then I'm going to peel it out, and I'm going to see how it looks and see if I like it. And hopefully I do. Otherwise, I'm wasting some time here. But that's okay, because sometimes practical application of the design leads to more truth there. Yes, Goose is kind of like Ethel, because Goose likes to make sure everyone knows he has killed something. Yeah, all my cats are really weird and they're all really loud, so I guess pets do become like their owners. Hi, Jedi. It's nice to see you. Okay, so those parts are done. Alright, let's get into the difficult bits then. So, sometimes I have to figure out the cutting order before I start, just so I'm not really confused when I start. Okay, I'm going to start over here. There we go. I'm going to start on the vine work now. Now, this is one of the parts where I have to make the vines a little bit thicker than what my guide illustration is here, because, again, I'm working with sewing machines and not just, drawing or printing something. So I have to be able to make sure I can get around these curves and sew things down properly. And sometimes if they're too narrow, the cutout doesn't work right. So it does end up in things being not quite so delicate when I'm doing stuff like this. So have to see. But it should be fine. It's just slightly less delicate than some of the filigree stuff. And I have to carefully look at sometimes the kind of work that I'm doing. Sorry, 1 minute here. Hi, Goose. I hear you. And I'm sure Sparrow will probably join in the howling later, because that's a favorite hobby of hers. Unless she's in with my mom in her room, which let's hope so. She is also very loud. Okay, I'm going to tape down the part that I've just done so it's not flipping up all over the place while I'm working on the other side. I've learned, because I've done a few bags that have maze themes to them, like labyrinths, and taping regularly saves me a lot of headaches because the details are so fine. It takes not very much to start flipping pieces up, and that's very not conducive to me getting this done properly. It tends to cut off at weird places, and also it's dangerous for my fingers. Imagine that, working with scalpels and little tight curls is dangerous. It's not terribly conducive sometimes to keeping your fingers healthy. Okay, all right. Yeah, the other thing is when we have these tight patterns going together, as you can see, this part here is really close to that little filigree there. So when I'm widening the patterns, I have to make sure that I'm not widening them too much. This is a very intricate design. But so far, it's going good. We'll see what happens when I try to pull it back out to look at the end result. But spatial awareness on pieces like this is very important, because I can't go too far out of the assembled design. Okay. The only thing I can play with is where these circles go, really. And I can do that. So that'll help me a little bit. So what I'm going to do, these little middle bits, I'm going to have to pay close attention to those when I pull the design out, when I go to finish this section, because I might have to, well, I will have to put some of the middle pieces back in as separate individual pieces, because I'm doing the reverse applique instead of the applique. And it might turn out when I go to do this that I have to do the applique first instead of reversing it, but we will see about that once I get this wrapped up. It's going to take me a minute to cut this one out though, so it's not like it's happening right now. Yeah, cats don't like hats a whole lot. We got those little bonnets for the cats. One was a banana and one was like Kirby, and they hated them. I have pictures, but they hated them. Okay, so fiddly bit here, because this is a corner up on the top. The curly cues, I'm probably going to have to do some cleaning up once I get this taken apart. But that's okay, because I have to clean up things no matter what I'm doing, really.
Hi, Mom.
Not today, buddy. I'm doing really complicated stuff, okay?
Oh, I was gonna give you a hug.
I love you very much.
Are you streaming?
I am.
What are you making?
Gothic bag. Okay, but I gotta concentrate, sweetheart. Okay. This is a very tricky part. Trying to keep the narration going and not like cut off my fingers, so. Okay. So we're gonna change up a little bit of the design now, just because I don't think all of the little dots here are gonna fit once I've cut everything out. And that's okay, because I can always leave those off. Okay, I've done these. Okay. Sometimes I have to kind of pill around a little bit. Yeah, I think keeping my fingers is probably a good thing. So.
Someone forgot to turn off the heater again.
Okay, bud. Next thing you know, he's going to be complaining about the thermostat or something. I don't know. The kid gets ideas about things. So sometimes starting from the other end makes things a little bit easier. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Good. Okay, that part's done. Up at the top. Excellent. So some of this will be little individual parts, and that should work just fine. But we'll figure it out soon enough whether all this is going to come together. So as you can imagine, this is going to take a while to sew down when it's time for that. Like I said, everything I cut out, I have to sew down. So as long as this is going to take, it'll take longer to actually sew it all, because I'm using the sewing machine instead of the scalpel. Excellent. Okay, that's going good. Gotcha.
Here you go, give Chris a hug.
Okay, honey. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to change the scale of these dots when I'm done. They might have to be a little bit smaller. I do like them though as a style element, so I think I'm going to keep them. But we'll have to do some adjusting. Okay, I have the scalpel in my hand right now, sweetheart, so I need you to please be cautious. Okay, I'm right here. What's up? I see.
Sparrow in a cutie box.
Yep, Sparrow is a cutie. Thank you for showing me that.
It's a goose.
Ironically enough, the one animal in our house that does like clothes is the Great Dane. And it's so hard to find clothes for dogs that big. Besides, like, human people clothes. Which we have done. He likes Jamie's. He has a pair of ducky pajamas that are like the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my life. Okay, come on. Sometimes when it doesn't want to drag around a tight curve, I gotta finagle it a bit. Okay. And the fun thing about when I forget to tape things, I can just peel the thing up and it shows me where I left off because it's popping right up. Okay, that's good. Sometimes people have asked me before if the dog likes to wear clothes. And I'm like, well, like, he's a 115-pound Great Dane. If he didn't want to wear the clothes, he would not be wearing the clothes.
Are you talking about Bear?
Yes, I'm talking about Bear.
Well, if you someday visit us, you'll probably see Bear following a certain someone.
Tristan, honey, please go play.
I'm waiting for my popcorn to cook.
Okay, well, I need to concentrate right now. Okay?
Okay, I might go on my computer and go on Twitch.
Behave yourself.
I will.
Okay, thank you. Parenting, streaming, cutting out designs. Hey, baby.
Hi, Chris.
All right. We're getting there. I know that this looks like something. Bear is like the friendliest dog I've ever had. His like literal only concern in life is how long he can lay on the couch. Like literally that's it. He has very simple needs. Okay, so there's that part done. Oh, sweet. I'm glad you got the sublimation printer in. Nice. You'll have to show me later what you're making with it once you have it set up. Okay, now we have the very fiddly bit here, which means I'm going to have to get this in. Okay, so the middle parts here that I'm cutting out that aren't attached to the outside of the bag at all, this is all going to be pieces I'm going to have to save and sew back down so that the design is complete. So I'm trying to... Sorry, sometimes I can't cut and talk at the same time. Just because I get distracted. And that's a little bit risky sometimes. There we go. Gonna get this middle part done. And then we're gonna peel back half of the design and see if it worked, because there's no point in doing the whole design only to figure out that it doesn't work and I'm gonna have to do it a different way. This is live trial and error, folks. Okay, so I'm going to do this part. So sometimes the unfortunate truth is, even though I have set up the design and I have done my best to pick designs I know I can do, sometimes practical application says absolutely not. So we are going to find out how good at this I am of picking the designs out and such once I get this middle bit done. Nope, I gotta tape. Otherwise things are gonna move again. Don't move on me. Okay. Yes. All right. Did I get? No, I did not get that. Okay. Believe it or not, my finger is not as close to the blade as you think it is. I'm really not being unsafe. But I have to hold things sometimes while I cut them. Okay. I have to keep, so this middle bit is like a lot. And I have to make sure that I'm not overcutting or being sloppy, because there are parts that I'm going to have to keep and parts that I'm going to have to discard. So it's important for me to be super neat right now, because if I cut the wrong part in the design, I just literally have to start all over again. I do still have all of my fingers. I only cut off part of one of them. It wasn't an important part, I don't think. And it healed pretty quick because it was a scalpel cut, so it all worked out. Ow, baby, why? Okay, there we go. Okay. For your signs. Yeah. Man, good luck with that. Price of lumber is outrageous. I don't know why it's so terrible, but it certainly is. Okay. There we go. Okay. Gotta tape this down again. Yeah, I want to see that. Okay. I'm almost there, y'all. This one is, like, seriously one of the trickier things I've ever done. And especially on here, because a lot of my stuff is... Okay. Yeah, I got that done. Okay. A lot of my stuff that I've done so far hasn't been this intense. So you all get to see my thinking face and hear my thinking voice when I'm trying to work and talk. But I think I'm multitasking okay so far. Okay. Let's get this piece. Okay. Sweet. The cool thing about doing some of this is that I can print my own reference pieces. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel this off and we're going to check out half of the design and make sure that I've done it okay enough that it's going to work in the end. And then I can always bang out the extra parts, the little dots and stuff later, without wrecking the other half of the design, because if this does work, I don't want to have to do it, try to reline this up again. So let's see. This is the reveal. Please provide drum roll if you would like. There we go. And I can always clean up the little pieces that I don't need. Like if I don't know, took a corner too far or something like that. Yeah, buddy, I did rip it because I'm taking off the paper part of it. I didn't rip the design underneath. The paper part on top is like a guide. For those of you who do not know, Galaxy, bunch of numbers, is my kid. I know, buddy, I know you're on your computer, that's okay. Believe it or not, I've never actually stabbed myself in the face with these scissors either, so I know it looks like it when I'm... Look at that though, isn't that cool? Just boop, pops right out. Okay, so far so good on that. Okay, I think, yeah, I did. No, that I can do that. That's okay though. I can fix that. He is my youngest kid. He has been warned that he has to behave himself. He wants to be in the chat channel. Also, his father is the moderator, so no. The client did not provide this design. The client provided a different design to me, and I kind of had to work out a new one that would work a little bit better, because the original one is a hand-drawn one, and while I really liked it, it was too intricate and the lines were too thin for me to cut. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's see if I can get this out. So this part gets really, really tricky when I'm doing things this involved. Take care, Teal. Don't work too hard. Pet the kitties for me, would ya? Okay, so I don't think I got too intense here. Okay, there. Yes. Okay, yes. Sorry, I'm kind of talking to myself at this moment because cutting out these little fiddly bits is not fun a little bit. So basically what I'm doing is leaving the blanks behind when I'm doing reverse applique. So I'm taking out the centers, and everything in the middle is what's going to be the actual design. That can get tricky, especially if I didn't. Yep. So I'm going to show you what the issue is here. I skipped a side of this bottom part. It's just not cut. So what I'm going to do is one second, I dropped it behind the trash can. So 2 seconds here, I got to get this out. Hi, Riv. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to tape down this bottom part again and then cut out the rest of the design like this. I have done this before. It can work. But we'll see if I'm successful here, because there's a lot of tape on this bottom part. Okay, so go through the bottom here. Where I think I've cut everything out and I've skipped a part and it doesn't work. It's not great.
Wi-Fi's not working.
Well, don't mess with the Wi-Fi, please, because I am streaming and that's important. Okay?
Oh,
Don't mess with the Wi-Fi.
okay.
Thank you.
You go see if my computer's working again.
Why don't you go talk to your dad about that?
Good, check it, bud.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. I don't think I can. It's all very intense, isn't it? You gotta watch me make mistakes, live and in color. But that's all part of this because I'm a human being doing this, not a machine. Machines don't muck things up, generally speaking.
Nope, it's not working, so I'm gonna go talk to my dad.
I really do buy masking tape in bulk. I buy like 6 to 8 rolls at a time, and I have to buy them every couple months. No joke. Okay, let's try this. Yes.
Hey, Mom.
Yes. Yes, Tristan.
Chris is gonna have to restart the router when you're done streaming.
Okay, well, why don't you go find something else to do that doesn't involve the internet? Okay, so let's...
Good, I have 4G on my phone.
I do have a lot of tape. I have to buy masking tape, and double-sided tape, and... Okay, come on, baby. Okay, there's that. Alright, so I'm trying to match this up right now. And I think I got it. Yep. Got it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to finish cutting this out. Because I have managed to forget to cut out the whole thing. And that's okay, because I can do stuff like this. Shockingly, this is not the first time this has happened. As you can see, I'm not disturbed by this. Okay. I don't know if there are or not, baby. But I have to tell him to go do something. Okay. Yes. There we go. See? Works. Wait. It doesn't because I forgot the little leaf. Why is that there? Oh, because I cut it off. Nope. Gotta start again. That stinks. Or, wait, no. I'll just make it look like a little butterfly. Et voila. Solutions for problems, folks. Solutions for problems. We can change designs as we go. Okay, let's go back to this. Okay. Does look like a little butterfly, doesn't it? Yeah, that works. As you can see, I had one of these that got cut off because I put it in the wrong place. So now it's a butterfly. Solutions. Okay. Okay. Sometimes it just works out like that, and it's okay. Because in the end, it's still going to look really cool. So, It's all right. Out of here. There's this. A lot of times if you're working with materials where you can't exactly see what it is you're getting at, look at the back. Because when I get confused as to where I'm supposed to be cutting versus not, the back of the piece will almost always show you more than the front will. And if you muck it up on the back, it's not going to be as big of a deal. Helpful hints for being a weirdo that does work like I do. There we go. No, come on. So as you can see, cutting off bits that you're not supposed to cut off kind of makes it so that you have to redo parts of the design. So it's always better to know, if you can, where to cut and what to cut. That's why being neat is really important while you're doing it, because you can't always go back and just fix it like that. Okay. So sometimes giving these a little bit of a tug reveals the parts that need to come out versus the parts that don't. This one's a bit like a maze, to be honest. Okay, so I was talking earlier when I was doing the cutting about the parts that I'm going to have to save to do this correctly. And it's going to have to be all these little middle bits. I think might have to do this as regular applique. Yeah, it is sort of like weeding vinyl, pretty much. It's just that I'm doing it manually. So, I think I might have to do this as regular applique instead of reverse applique, because I don't think I have the right bits here. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, so starting over. Chris, if you're listening, I need one more of these, the corner piece at the reduced size, because I have to do this again. Yay! I just don't think the design is going to end up working out in the end if I continue to muck about with this. The idea was solid application. In practice, not so much. So what I will do is I will cut another piece, and then I will do this in a different color. So let's see what color we're gonna do. I think I kind of like the tail. Let's take a peek. One more of these. Yeah, I like this. It's gonna look nice because we have blue going on the front and we got navy for the book. I think teal all on the back is gonna be really pretty. Let's have a look here. Have to try and get the color out now because I was gonna pick it later, but that's not gonna happen. because I need to do it right now. Let's see. I don't think I like the fake ostrich. Okay. Let me see. Find which one. The vinyls? Most of my vinyl comes from My Punk Broidery. Oh, the drawers. These over here. I got this on Craigslist. Yeah. I love it. It's like the best thing I've ever gotten. For real, for real. I'm gonna do a little bit of a search here for the right color vinyl. But I will show you the drawers here in just a second. Let me find. It's like acid green. Blue. I don't know how gothy this one is. I don't think it is. No, I think the teal is probably a better bet. I wish I had an embossed one though. That would be cool. No. I have a ton of vinyl in case anyone was wondering. This is really cool. It's like a... I keep all my zippers in here because the drawers are deep enough. I think it was a baker's cabinet at one point, maybe. Or a parts cabinet, just for parts. But it works out great, and I can keep like all my little bits and knickknacks and stuff like that. I don't know. I think it's too red. Let me see. Oh, I was hoping I could make this choice later, but I don't think so. Oh, poop. That's definitely not right. 2 seconds. Maybe we should do it in red. Let's figure this out. Do not believe that my husband is listening right now, so we might not be cutting out all of this right now anyways. He's got the printer in there with him. So I think he only monitors the chat when he does other stuff, so let's see. I really do like this red. It's like a nice metallic red. I think it'll look really cool. Plus we're gonna do some of the other parts. So let's see about this. Let's see if this is gonna work. Should work easier like this, but you gotta watch me cut all this out twice, so. Might run along onto the front though, just so you can see. Doing a little bit more of that because this is so fiddly and not terribly conducive to me talking a lot. The cabinet over there is hand painted too. It was originally very terrible, like industrial beige color. The inside of the drawers are still kind of a weird green. Yeah, I think this is gonna work a lot better. But let's move on to the other bits. I'm gonna tape that down before it falls off. Didn't know that some of these, yeah, I should have done this original applique to begin with. because it's so fiddly. Okay, that's fine. Let's have a look at what else we're doing, since I need some time to work on that other bit. So this is going to be the front of it. So we have these giant flowers, and we're going to put skulls on the insides of the flowers. And then I have a nice dark green over there for that too. So that's going to work. And then we got our lovely little raven over here that we're going to put on there. And I'm going to start with the base of the book. And that's going to be this navy kind of textured look that I think looks really good for vintage style books. It's a really pretty vinyl. And it's super nice to work with. So let's tape this. The inside of the book is going to have a couple designs on it, if I can make those work. Alright, let's get this part done. So for this, I don't have to have very much of the book part showing at all. It's going to be mostly open pages. So we have our little Gothic library kind of thing going on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut out this base. And then I'm going to lift the paper and put it off to the side so I can still use this same piece to cut out the pages. Because the rest of the book that's not supposed to be showing doesn't really matter a whole lot. So I can just cut it off wherever. Because the pages will be over it. Sneaky trick, right? But really it's just practical. Because not all of the thing needs to be showing. There we go. Bottom of the book. Gonna have to wait and see. Okay. Going to push this back on there. If you're wondering, all I'm doing is wrapping clear vinyl around my other vinyl to keep it all in a roll. That's just so it keeps it nicer. It's one of my favorite textures. It's so nice. I also have one that's like really bumpy. It looks kind of, people say it looks like eyes, but I don't think so. I think it looks like droplets, but whatever it is, it turns out really looking nice. It's like, it feels like a basketball, sort of, like that kind of bumpy basketball texture. Okay, let's get this one cut out. On the scale that I do them, like when I do the dragon bags with the dragon and all the books and everything, the books take forever. But on this, I'm still going to have to do all of the line work for the pages of the book because I don't like leaving them blank. I think it looks silly on the sides. Even though the picture doesn't show them, I put all of my pages on my books because I don't like it otherwise. So part of this we're going to try and do right now so that I don't have to try and do it while it's being put together or anything. I'm going to try and get the pictures on the pages because the book will not be blank when I sew it down. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna get this evened up a little bit because it looks like the pages are a little raggedy. Okay, let's try to get the rest of this. I gotta find the right little icons here. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to put something on these pages. It's going to be a little more simplified than what's here, but there will be images on the book. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit. Baby, can you do me a favor, dear? Can you ping my husband on Discord and tell him that he needs to print something for me? Because I don't think he's listening to the stream. Oh, hi honey. I need another one of the corner pieces. I sort of mucked up one. This one, I can't do it the way I had it. I didn't think you were because I asked you earlier and you didn't say anything. Thank you. Because I gotta try and get this other part done. That's what happens when my husband is my helper. Sometimes I gotta ask him stuff. Okay, let's try this one like this. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and get some basic shapes on. Oh, my stream is acting up? Well, that stinks. Alas. So this is going to be like a slightly more simplified version of some of the stuff that's here.
Yes.
Thank you, dear. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for being my helper. He's a delight. Must be, I don't know. Kid was complaining. It must be our Wi-Fi or something, router, whatever. Okay. So we have a second one of those now. Cool, cool, cool. Let's get some mystical symbols or something going on here. I know these are technically like embellishment designs or whatever, but we're just going to kind of simplify them a little bit just so that the pages aren't blank on the page here. Because a blank book I don't think was going to sit right. Okay, here we go. Baby, do you seriously have an embroidery machine that you don't use at all? You should. They're fun. You get all kinds of really cool designs for them. For the unaware, I have known BB for the better part of, what, 17 years now? Don't start abusing your power as a mod. It's not okay. We've been friends for a long time. It is a really long time. Oh. We went from punk kids on the internet to actual adults with grown children. It's crazy. What? I need to get an embroidery machine. I keep talking about it, but I keep looking at the specs of the ones I need, and I'm just like, that's a lot. It's not like the Viking Husqvarna, like, top of the line machines. Those are... Some of those cost as much as like half of my house. Crazy. I saw one the other day that was like $40,000. And I'm just like, what? It better instantly make me money or something, because holy pants, that's a lot. Okay, I'm gonna get this down. I need to get a new serger too. Mine's like 30 years old and skips too many stitches. Get a cover lock. Makes the nice fancy patterns on there. Cover stitch, overlock. That's what I meant. Trying to get this cut out. Scale makes a big difference when you're doing work like this. So like the whole thing takes more time when you're trying to do it smaller, unsurprisingly. It's also much easier to lose part of the finger. Yeah, like, I'm always blown away by how different housing markets are. Just amazing. Like, and awful. My house could, like, if I took my house and moved it somewhere with, like, a desirable housing market, it would easily be over $1 million. But here, out here, in BFE nowhere, Indiana, it's, like, barely 100 grand, 150, something like that. So yeah. It's a bit surreal to think about how much money your house would be worth somewhere else if it was somewhere people wanted to live. Nobody wants to live out here. Oh yeah, I mean, like, housing market stuff is just nuts to me. I just look at, like, seriously, there was somewhere in California, wasn't it? That literally the house had burnt down and they were just buying the land for like $1.2 million. And I'm just like, what? Eventually this is gonna crash, right? You know, like, I don't know. It just seems like that to me, right? This can't be sustainable. I don't know. Musings while I cut things out. I just think it's just like madness sometimes. Just how much that stuff goes for. Okay, let's try to get the rest of this out. Sometimes I'm lucky enough and I could just pull things apart. Just means I gotta clean up the stragglers in a little bit, but it works out. Okay, come on. Hey, Matt. Seriously? Seriously. Alright. That comes out. I don't even know how people finance things like that. Like, hi, I need like $12 million so that I have a ranch house to live in. What? I just don't get it. Sometimes all that housing stuff is so far beyond me. Yeah. We've redone, I think, every room in this house. Literally, like every room. If you would like to hear the story about this house, please feel free to say yes. Otherwise, I won't bore you with it. Okay, come on, come on. What? We painted and put carpet in your office. Stop. What else do you want to do to the office? I just don't get like how hot housing markets. It seems so nuts to me. Like you've got to like go into gladiatorial combat. No, I said we've redone all of the rooms in the house, dear. I didn't say that they all had laminate. Hey, goober. Oh. And we have redone like every room in this house. It was a hoarder house when we moved in. Well, when we took possession, anyways. It had been like repossessed or whatever, but it was a hoarder house. I'll let you guess what the carpets were like. Go ahead. Have a good think about that. It was special. There. Okay. So, I've got one design going here. There we go. Yep. Okay. So there's one design. It's kind of like Rorschach test. Rorschach? I don't know how to say that word right now. I'm a little tired. Started running again and it makes me tired. Those carpets are like, I literally have nightmares about the carpets that were in my house when we moved in. We tried to clean them so many times and then we decided that no, this just isn't going to work because there was a horrific smell every time you walked in the house, and it was always the rugs. So we had to start redoing the downstairs and taking it off the stairs because it was awful. It was just awful. And everything, like, our kitchen's small and everything in the kitchen was painted that, I know that Liz knows this color, this that country red that they use on all like the flag signs and whatever. That god awful red was all over the house, and then the carpets were like blue. So clearly somebody was into like that kind of folky patriotic stuff. It was so weird and hideous. The kitchen looked like something from like a horror show because it was red and it's small, so it looked like this red cave, and they had that thing in the 80s where they lowered ceilings, right? And put in like the fake light, like the halogen lights. It was awful. It looks great now. Finally got done what I wanted to have done to the house. Oh man, those carpets. We started to pull. We did all of this work ourselves, right? And we pulled up these rugs, and I looked at my husband. I'm just like, oh my god. And he's like, so we're replacing all the rugs. I'm like, yes, immediately. Like, I couldn't even stand to have them in the house anymore. They were just awful. But it looks much nicer now. We did a lot of hard work. We did one giant project a year until we got finished. Oh, wow. Rusty pumpkin. That sounds delightful. Oh, wow. You'll have to ask Chris for the pictures of the crackle wall. I gotta change my blade. It's starting to stick. We had a hallway between the kitchen and the living room was... I can't even describe the color purple. The color purple was like... It's like royal purple, but with too much pink in it. It was terrible. But it was that crackle paint, right? Oh, God. It was so hideous. They were like wood toilet seats. It was, turbo folksy. Oh. When I noticed that I need to start to change this, it was, because things are starting to drag on the blade, so time to change it. Because I'm cutting paper, scalpel blades don't like to hold up very long, especially when I'm doing this much cutting. Yeah. Man, there was some ugly, ugly stuff in this house. And very poorly done repairs before we moved in. Thankfully, I have a very handy husband, and I grew up having to do all this kind of stuff. So it made it so much easier to fix the ugly and the poorly repaired. My bathtub was pink. It was that lovely 1950s stuff. I do think that little pink stucco houses are cute. I probably wouldn't want to live in one long term, but I think they're cute. Gosh, it's always house projects. I can't understand why people make fun of people for renting. I'm like, do you not understand what owning a house means? Because it's just a lot of work. Like, so much work. And something always breaks. Something's always going wrong.
Sandwich bag.
Thank you, kid.
Sandwich bag stream.
Okay.
Monka S. Pepe hands. Pogger.
My children are very strange people. This surprises no one who knows me. Because I'm weird. Again, not shocking, because I'm sitting here doing all this little nonsense stuff. Alright. let's get little fiddly bits going on here, so it takes me a minute to cut them out. Oh, see, I have the solution for how to get rid of yard work. Probably wouldn't work for allergies, but I just turned my yard into a garden. It's just all plants now. Nobody has to mow much of anything, except for little bits around the side. I hate yards. I don't like grass. I think it's boring. It is definitely nothing I've ever wanted. So, when I got my own house, I said, I'm gonna tear up the lawn. And Chris said, good, because I hate mowing lawn. And that's pretty much how that worked out for us. And now we have almost nothing to mow. I'll get rid of the rest eventually. So by the time we're too old to want to do the yard work, we won't have any. Yeah, I don't know if I could stand the heat that long, to be honest. Like, that seems excessive. This is definitely going to be a multi-day project. So, because we have so much more to do, this is just the little book that's going on the front of this. So, as you can see, there we go. Okay, so there's this. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, there's a bunch more stuff. So there's going to be like a crow coming down here. There's plants. We've got more of this. So I think I'm going to go ahead, try and get this other part taped down. I need a baggie real quick. I have a greenhouse, so I'm going to start my seeds next week because I have a heater for the greenhouse now. So growing things is serious business for me. I'm going to put all my parts in here. I got a keyhole garden for the backyard. So all of that will be taken care of. Because we have a dog, and I don't want the dog going to the bathroom in our food. That seems very unhygienic. Okay. Yeah, I won't be able to get anything into planters for a while, but I will be able to start seeds, and that's good. I'm gonna start some new plants this year. I got a bunch of new seeds. So there's like more lupins. And I got some borage. So that'll be a nice like kind of wildflower herb. See, I think that's a good idea. The garbage can planters, why not? Tomatoes like to go deep. And if they can't be like actually in the ground, well, that's the next best thing, really. All right. So, I'm starting to fade here a little bit, folks. Having that little bit of a oopsie there. But I have to restart this, and I have to recut a new side panel for the back, because obviously I cut parts out of that one. I think I'm gonna let everyone go for the evening, and then I'm gonna work on this, and then tomorrow we'll finish up the rest of the side bits, and I'll try and get some lace cut too, because I have to use the leather punches for that as well. So I'm gonna end the stream, and I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you for joining me.